All right, I don't know if this is working. We're gonna wait here. Thinking, Facebook never tells me when we're ready. Hey everyone, Steve Gonzer here, physical therapist. I wanted to talk to you guys about some running stuff. So I've been treating patients all week, and this is something I wish you all knew. I think you're gonna get a lot of value out of this live. So if you know someone who's struggling maybe with injury or has trouble getting back out on the roads because something's aching or paining them, definitely share this with them. I'm gonna cover, actually, so I've been doing a lot of telehealth, and I have a lot of patients coming in who are injured, and I'm doing things like this with them and treating them, and I wanna share with you some of the training plans that I've given them to help them get back out on the roads. Because here's the thing is, and maybe this is you, once you get to the point, and I've been talking about the fact that you need to go from when you're injured and you start to feel better, everyone does like the bounce in place and they're like, oh, I think I'm ready to run, and they start running. And as runners, they think if I'm not going out for 3 miles, I'm not going out. And I have a lot of runners who they take time off and then they run themselves right back into the ground because they go out and do way too much. So they think if I'm not running 3 miles, I'm not going. And truthfully, when they get out there, maybe it's successful for the first 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. And they think they're over it and they just keep running. And the trouble is eventually if you're coming off an injury, you're gonna get to a point where you fail. So for some runners, it's immediate, like 5 minutes into my run, I'm sore. Some runners, it's like 10 minutes, and they come in and say, well, I just can't run. I'm like, well, what do you mean you just can't run? And say, well, after 15, 20 minutes, it gets sore. I'm like, well, great, you can run, you just can't run as long as you want. So I want to share with you a return to run program because this is really important when you get over injuries. So I'm actually going to go for a run here shortly. I got past what I call my 10-minute feeler yesterday. I'm going to go out for a little bit longer today. And this is exactly the schedule that you should be. If you're just following me, I tore my quad enough to bruise it it's now about a week ago. And I've always been committed to the fact if you do the right stuff within 2 weeks, you can turn it around and get back out on the roads. But runners are self-destructive and work against the natural properties of healing. So let me go through. I want to show you what it looks like. So what I'm assuming at this point is if you're a runner and you're hurt, is that you can go around your daily life without pain, and you're one of those runners who I can do everything but just run, and you're ready to get back out on the road. Maybe you've already failed a couple times, or maybe you are just ready to get out and you don't know how to transition from not running back to running, because going out for 3 miles is not what you're supposed to do. So I'm going to share this with you. So the first runner I have, one runner is struggling from plantar fasciitis. The other one is struggling from, I believe, a calf issue. It doesn't matter because it all looks the same. But I want to show you, okay, we have this runner. Let me go right to their plan here, right here. Okay, so I sent this to them. We're going to look at this week as being the week of 4/17. Well, 4/17 is this day, so I just saw them. And what you're seeing here is a walk to, run to 5 times. Now, this first run doesn't seem like a lot, but really what we're looking to do here is it depends on the runners. Some runners I'll start right at 10 minutes depending on where they're coming from. The key factors that depend on how quickly I go with this is, do you have a race coming up and do you need to get ready quickly? Do you have an extensive running background, and how long have you been off? If you've been off for a really long time, you're not as fit as you once were, or you've lost a lot of fitness, I'm going to go a little bit slower. If you're really fit still, you've been really active and you just can't run, I'll be a little bit quicker. And also if we need to get ready for a race, I'll try to be a little bit quicker. The faster you go, the more you flirt with danger. So there's a risk reward here. So I'm going slow with this runner. They have some medical history that kind of clouds the area. So let me go to their plan again for you just to give you some background on them. They're going to start off with a walk to, run to 5 times. All we're trying to do here is not build fitness. We're trying to make sure that they can run and they can run successfully. And you're going to notice I have a list of strength exercises that I give people based on what their main limitations are. But you're going to see that they're going to do some stuff on the off days, walk and do some strength. And then they're going to do this one again. I'll show you a more aggressive plan here in a minute. But they're going to walk to, run to 5 times again. And then you're going to start to see me building up. This is someone who's been off for a while, is used to being fit, but they really haven't run in a considerable amount of time. There's some medical history involved that we want to slow things down. And then you can just start to see this build. I'm always an advocate for an every other day run plan. And then this is a slower plan again that they're doing walk and runs to start. But you'll see this every other day piece. I'm not going to see them for 2 weeks. The big problem that I see with a lot of runners, so you can see here again, walk 2, run 4, 5 times. That start of going out and just doing walk running is just to prep the tissue. Can you pound on this? Have you been injured for a long time? Well, great. The tissue's not used to running. One of the worst things you can do is be getting over like a sore knee and end up with a second injury, because I always tell my runners, not only did your knee not run, but also your other knee hasn't run and your ankles haven't run. And as you get older, it's very easy to get hurt coming off an injury because your risk is higher because nothing's used to running. So we have to be cautious with this. I do want to show you another runner here, but let me just cover this again. The second runner I'm going to show you is much more aggressive because it's somewhat individualized. There's not a magic recipe for it. I've been doing this for 10 years and it really depends on the runner. But I think the take-home message for you is this, is that when you start to feel like, hey, I think I can start running, it's not go out and go for 3 miles. It's go out and test the water. I call them feeler runs. Are you even ready to start running? And the best thing you can do is say, I can at least run 10 minutes. And we can build off of that. The trouble is when people run too much too quickly. So let me show you this other runner. I'm just going to sum up this last one here. You can see here, I use a lot of heat because this runner is not inflamed anymore. We want to increase blood flow and big toe stretching. So this is a runner with some big toe and plantar fascia issues. If you're sore from the exercises or running, stop, take 1 to 2 days off, and then go back to the previous level. That's key too. Like a lot of runners think, if you keep progressing week over or run out of a run, they get in a lot of trouble and they end up just crashing and burning. For example, if you're sore at walk 2, run 2 5 times, the next time you're supposed to run, give it 1 additional day, then repeat walk 2, run 2 5 times instead of progressing. Those progressions are really important to make sure, and then also fitting in the things that are treating the why you're hurt. So if you have plantar fasciitis, why do you have plantar fasciitis? If you have a sore knee, why do you have a sore knee? You can't just say, I'm going to calm my knee down with ice and vitamin I, which is ibuprofen, and then start running again. Usually it's due to tight ankle or weak hips or something. So we address those on the exercises as well. Now let me show you a more aggressive plan. So you're fit, you're ready to run. Maybe you've been spinning a lot. This runner has been. They've been working out a lot. They had a sore, I wish I knew what it was. I believe it might have been a hamstring. I think it was a hamstring. And we're trying to get her back running, and there's obviously no pressure because of COVID. Oh yeah, before I forget, I'm gonna post a link in the comments. If you haven't read this article yet, the goal is to not get hurt, right? So let me just see if I can grab this quick. I'm gonna post a link in the comments. If you haven't read this yet, check it out. The goal is to maximize your training right now so that you don't end up injured. Read the article because it'll summarize 3 things that I've been teaching all my runners to do in the short term so they can get set up for the fall. So look at that, but I also want to show you this other runner who's a little bit quicker on their return, another runner from this week. And let's just go down here. And you're going to see she actually already has run a walk 10, run 10, walk 10. So you're going to see here on her Tuesday, so this is this week, this would be today, today's Friday when I'm shooting this. You're going to see a couple things that are very similar. You're going to see her running on opposite days. You're going to see exercises that are addressing the issue on her non-running days. So we have her doing some lunges, go slower and control the motion. Just some keys after watching her do the exercises through telehealth that I realized she was doing poorly with. Stay in the slider, she knows what all this means, but backwards reaches, squats. So the main thing here is that we're still giving the corrective exercises. On the days she's not running, depending on what she has access to, she's gonna be biking, elliptical, walking, staying active, and then we're gonna be building up her run. I always let my runners know this is not set in stone. You have to make adjustments. I think I'm pretty good at making the right adjustments and creating the correct plan for them to return to running, but you have to be flexible. You can't go out and just crush it. A couple things like speed matters. You're going out for conversation pace. I told this runner, it's 15 minutes. You don't have to be fast. Don't worry about it. We're just trying to be successful with the runs. And it's important to know that your job when you're coming back to running after an injury is to get to the next day feeling like, I could have done more. Not, damn it, I'm really sore. Because then you have to calm it all back down. You have to go through this whole process again and start over. Your goal when you return to run is to just finish the run and be like, I want to do more, but I'm gonna call it because it's been successful. So when you look at this runner's plan, I actually drew it out a little bit further for her because I'm not scheduled. I'm gonna move her appointment back, but you're gonna see a couple things. You're gonna see that she's repeating days, walk 10, run 15, 10 times. A lot of runners, and you're gonna see her do it again, think that every run's gonna be a little bit further. That's not the case. And then she actually drops down to get to 20 minutes. So I did have her running straight 15 minutes to build her up. I did then take her and get her to 20 minutes, but I broke it up. Then you're gonna see that I start working some back-to-back days without progression. You're gonna see that her first back-to-back run is not even building up. She ran 20 minutes the run before that, but now she's going back-to-back, so I drop it back down. Then she's doing PT clean. Maybe she checks in with me on Wednesday because I was worried about her. So some people I'm just like, oh, I'm super worried about you because you're a flight risk. I always compare my runners like it's like when they they see a dog sees the gate open and they shoot for it. And this is what my runners, I give them a little taste of blood in the water and they're going nuts. So I always like to check in with them. I will talk about this symptom scale because that's really important. I'll do probably a whole live on that as well because that's something that is extremely important as well. But you're gonna see that she's building up, and then only after I get these back-to-back runs in, she's going 20, 20, this is projected, 15 to 20. See how there's no build there? Like a lot of runners think they need to build that next one, and then 25, 25. So that's a really important piece that everyone needs to realize is that you gotta build slow. It's not, I'm gonna run 3 miles or I'm not running, because a lot of times 3 miles is too much. If you take 80 steps a minute times 3 miles, if you're running whatever, 10 miles, whatever, you're 2,000 plus times you're banging into something that's sore. Why not just try 10 minutes? I can promise you, if you can run 10 minutes without pain, you have something to work from. If you're constantly going out and trying to run 3 miles, you're gonna fail consistently. And this is why things don't get better. This is why people prolong injuries. Instead of being 7 to 14 days, letting their body heal in that time frame and going, they go and they just so destructive to their body and their injury that it turns into 3, 6, 9, 12 months. So the last thing I want to cover, which someone commented on, which Helena commented on, was this symptom scale. This seems pretty simple, but you should know this as well. This live's a little bit longer. Hopefully that's okay with you all. Real quick, if you know anyone, please just tap the share button. I like when I get some shares with these. It helps broaden my reach and help more runners. So tap it, comment if you can. The symptom scale is super important. And how do you know what is normal to feel? How do you know what you should be feeling or not be feeling? Like you're out for a run, you're like, I don't know if I should stop. And a lot of times when runners have been injured for so long, they kind of like, they feel like they feel it, but they don't feel it, or they just becoming like a nut job about being hyper focused and hyper aware of it. So I came up with a simple scale off of being injured myself. And again, I've been treating runners for 10 years. So this scale seems very simple, but it's very, very effective if you're trying to come back from an injury. Because what you want to do is, let's say you strain your hamstring. It doesn't matter if it's your hamstring, your calf, your foot, your quad, your glute, whatever. You have to use that injury. You have to use it, but how do you know how much to use it so you don't re-injure it? And this scale is what we use, or what I've been using for a while. So let me see if I can zoom in on this for you all. So it's this 0 to 5 scale. You can see the symptom scale, which is right in here, okay? So I use this to know when a runner should stop. So 0 is you feel nothing and you're running along. Obviously, if you feel nothing, great. Just keep running, that's fine. A 1 is you're aware of it. So 1 out of 5 is you're running along and you're like, I don't know if I feel it. I think I feel it. Oh my God, I don't know. Is that it? Is it not it? I'm not sure. That's a 1. You're just aware of something. You're not really sure if it's there. That's a 1. Keep going, great. You have a 1 on your hands. The next one is 2. This is where you definitely feel it. Definitely feel it is like you're running along. You're like, it doesn't hurt, but I know exactly where it is. I can feel that exact spot. It doesn't hurt, but I know exactly where it is. That's a 2. 2 is our yellow light. It means proceed with caution. Make sure you're staying close to home, or you're ready to walk home if you need to, because a 3 is where most runners go wrong. 3 is definitely, it hurts a little bit. So that's a 3. And when we think about hurts a little bit, you're running along and you're like, that hurts, but I can keep going. And that's really the trouble spot for so many runners, because when you are hurting a little bit but can keep going, you're destructing the tissue, you're breaking it down. So imagine you cut yourself and it's just about the scar is over and you just bust it open again. That's what you're doing when you hurt a little bit. And we want to make sure that we're not getting to that stage. So I usually tell my runners, once you get to that 3, pull the plug, you're done for the day. And really, if you get to that 3, by the next day, and you have that day off and then the next day of running, you're ready to go again. And if you can do this consistently and not just keep banging into that 3 where you hurt a little bit, you're going to change the tissue. You're going to change your injury to continue to run. Then we get to the other parts of the scale, which are the bloody parts, which number 4, this definitely hurts. Number 4 on that scale, 4 or 5, you're running along. This definitely hurts. I shouldn't be doing this. A lot of times I joke with my runners, you're running along, you're like, oh man, this thing hurts. And I shouldn't be doing this, but I need to get home, or whatever, I just want to run and it's not that bad, and you kind of justify it. A 4 is complete destruction. You're already setting yourself back. So we never want to get to a 4. We never want to get to a 3, let alone a 4. And finally, number 5. Number 5 is a limp. You're running along and you're limping. You're 3 sheets to the wind at that point, and you're just heading down a dark, dark path. So let me run down those real quick again for you. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You want to keep everything between a 2 and below on your runs, and you want to build slowly. You're going to notice throughout my training, you're going to see all these runs never really a back-to-back day to start off. I'm going every other day, utilizing walk runs. For example, this runner at the top, let me just move this down for you. This runner at the top is starting off with walk runs. The runner at the bottom down here is starting off with just some straight runs. She actually did a 10-minute run before we started this, just for anyone who follows along and knows I do a 10-minute feeler. But every runner is getting the exercises that go with that. And when we're talking about exercises, you'll see I'm asking 𝗲𝗵𝗱 a lot. The exercises are usually focused in a couple areas. They're focused on glute strength, they're focused on balance, they're focused on core strength. And there are some intricacies in those pieces of how we get a runner put back together, but those are the key things we're looking for. Hopefully this is helpful. If you haven't checked out the article I posted in the comments, please go check that out. If you want some help with your training, we have an injury management seminar through Run Smart Online that you can check out with our $1 2-week trial, and also all our strength workouts that target glute strength, balance, core strength, all that stuff. So if you're interested in that, check that out. But also appreciate the comments, appreciate you sharing this, and I'll come back probably later today or tomorrow and talk a little bit more about the injury cycle and how you can prevent it. All right, guys, I appreciate you all. Thank you. Be safe, and let's get rid of this COVID thing. Bye, guys.